Okay, here we go. Today I'm going to make a modification of my Ruger 1022. One of the quirky things about it is that the bolt holdback is a little bit quirky when you're using it. Of course, the first thing we'll do is, obviously it's got no magazine in it and the chamber is clear, but to hold the bolt back, what you have to do is press back right here as you're pushing back, and then it holds the bolt open. Well, to release that, it's a two-handed operation, and you have to be pushing back, and then you have to kind of lift up and push this as well before it'll slide forward. It's a little bit awkward, and what I'm going to do is I went online and purchased one of these auto releases on eBay, like 11 bucks, and I'm going to replace the factory bolt release with this auto release, and then I'll be able to just use one touch to release it. So the first thing we got to do is get the trigger assembly out, and of course we got to pop the pins. Sure. And of course it pops right out. Now, what I could do is take this whole assembly apart and install it, but what I'm going to try to do is do it in a sequence so that I will only have to push these pins back and forth a little bit and then slide the old one out and slide the new one in. So our first step here is there's a spring right here that holds the release down. So I'm going to push this pin right here in just enough to release the tension on that spring. You can see it right there. And we'll push it all the way to the back. Now there's no pressure on this at all. What I want to do then is push this pin back in just enough so that it clears the extractor. And then there's one more down here. Well, it came out all the way, and so did the ejector, but that's no problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this pin down at the bottom out a little bit. It came all the way out as well. So if I get that out of there, and there's the factory holdback. Now when I get a chance, you can take a look here. This is the factory, and this is the aftermarket. And the only difference is you can see this little cleft here, little nipple or whatever. Supposedly, you can actually just take this out and use a file and file it off so it'll resemble this, and then you'd be good to go. These are $10 on eBay, and I figured it would be best if I just got one and put it in myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop it down in the trigger assembly. Line everything up with the hole. This is the magazine release here, which I just goofed up. But it just pops back right in. Line my holes back up. Get the hole lined up here. Okay, and I got the bottom one seated in. So now we got to put the top back on, along with loading that spring. So we will start it in. We also have to put the ejector in. Went a little bit too far. I'm going to go back in and push it back out. Load the spring again. And push the pin back in. Now it's all back together. Okay, and that was it. So now all we've got to do is find my pins, which are right there. Tap these back in to seed the... Okay, now what should happen is the same thing. When I push back, I lift up on that. You can see it holds back in place. Now, to release it, all I should have to do is with one motion, and there we go. We've just installed an auto bolt release on a Ruger 1022. As you see, if I can do it, it's a pretty simple process. Took me, looking at my timer here, we're at 8 minutes right now. And of course I stopped and talked and chitty chat for a while. But it's a nice little modification. It's easy to do. It's inexpensive. And it'll really enhance your shooting pleasure. Of course, now I have to put the stock back on and ready to go. But anyhow, children, mass is done. Peace be with you.